I've been looking for a robot mower for a long time now, and I finally found one I think will fit my needs beautifully. And I got a really good deal on this Anthbot Genie 1000 on Black Friday. The about 50-pound package was shipped from New Jersey and arrived in just 2 days. So I'm going to open it up now. Got a quick start guide in German and English. Manual. Here's, if I can get it out. And here is the robot mower itself, the Genie. So hardware. Here is the base station that will charge on that. A couple more boxes. In one box there was the actual RTK, which is the real-time kinematic, basically the satellite receiver that talks to the mower via Wi-Fi. Stakes to stake the base station into the ground, an extra set of blades, and a screwdriver. The power bank for the base station. Extension cables. And then they give you a bunch of stakes in case you want to stake the extension cable into the ground. Then we have the stakes that will stake the base station into the ground. Here's everything you get. An extension cable for the RTK and the pole for the RTK with the RTK. An extension cable for power with the power adapter, the stake for the RTK pole, these plastic screws to screw in the base station to the ground with an Allen wrench, a spare set of blades with a screwdriver for it, because who doesn't have a screwdriver, the base station charger, and of course the actual lawnmower. Anthbot uses RTK and 4 cameras. Has 2 cameras, one on either side and 2 on the front up here, that will recognize objects to avoid and will figure out where to go if it ever loses access to the RTK. This is where it will charge when it docks to the charger. Those pins connect. Has a stop button for an emergency stop. Some buttons on the front to control it, but I found it much easier to control via the app. On the back side, there's a handle. If you ever need to pick it up, grab from the handle only. And then you could see spin freely. That's how you want, with the 5 blades that spin freely. That's how you want them. You never want them tight to not spin. The back wheels are really rugged, hard plastic with strong treads. And the front wheels are these caster wheels that spin freely. And on the top there's also a rain sensor here, so it will go back to the charging dock if it senses rain, and it will stay there for a configurable amount of time. I think 3 hours is the default. When you get the Genie 1000 or 3000, they're all going to look exactly like this. You're going to get the same parts, and it's going to look the same, be the same size. The difference is in the size of the battery. The battery increases by, I think, double for each of the different models, so it just covers a different area. So besides the size of battery, the charging is a little faster in the 3000 to accommodate the bigger battery. And then the 1000 and the 3000 have an anti-theft system. The 600 does not. In the anti-theft system, there's a 4G chip in the lawnmower that when it gets outside of, let's say, 500 meters from your house, an alarm will sound and you could track it on the app. The 600 doesn't have that feature. The only issue with the 1000 and 3000 is that that service is good for a year for free. You have to pay for it after that. I'm going to do the very initial setup of the initial charge of the mower and the updating of the firmware inside because it's cold outside. So, of course, this is not the final location. So, first, I'm going to plug in the power. So you could see there are two cords coming out of the charger, out of the base station. One has 3 holes and one has 2 holes, so you can't get it wrong. The power one has 2 holes, and there's even a little notch, so you can't line it up incorrectly. So they thought of everything. And then there's a little cover that you screw on to make it weather tight. So now the base station is powered. I'm not going to plug in the RTK yet because we're inside. So now I'm just going to put the mower onto the charger. Let's wheel that in there. So the connectors line up. The rods from the charger just go right into the mower. Booting up, I'm going to turn it on so I can set up the app.
Please enter PIN code.
So the initial PIN code is going to be 0000. Now I'm going to set up the robot mower, the Genie. Open the app and it'll walk you through everything. Yes, the device is powered on and my Bluetooth is on. So it's finding the device. That's it. I'm just going to put a temporary pin in. So I entered the pin, my temporary pin. You put in the current pin.
Bluetooth pairing success.
I'll name the mower Genius since it's such a smart mower, but also because in German, and the company is German, Genie is genius. So Bluetooth is all set, just connecting it to Wi-Fi now.
Network connection success.
Perfect. So the battery's up to 88%. That'll be plenty to start the mapping process. That was super easy to set up the app. So now I have my Genie outside and I'm going to install it and set it up in my yard. It's about 34 degrees right now, and tomorrow we're supposed to get about 5 inches of snow, so this is a temporary installation. And since it is December 1st, there's not much to mow. The grass is pretty short. But don't worry, in the spring and summer, there's going to be a lot of mowing for the Genie to do. The first step is to secure the base station where you want it. They give you these long screws. So they give you an Allen wrench. I wonder if I can get this into the rocks at all. Probably not. I'll probably have to pull the rocks away. So for now, I'm just going to set my base station here. You want to put these provided stakes into the ground, shove them in. They do screw in too. But the ground's pretty soft, so I could push them in a bit. All right, so now let's put the RTK together. It's super simple. You just screw it on. Very simply, screws right on. The pull. I do wish that the wall mount kit came with the mower, maybe as an optional item, but all they give you is the ground kit, because I definitely want to mount my RTK on my house. So that just snaps together. You line up the 3 prongs with the 3 holes and put the waterproof cap on. Then you just pull the excess through. So you could just screw the hole directly into the base, or you could use the provided, I think it's about a 20-foot extension cable to mount the RTK farther away from the base station. But they even sell longer ones, so you can put it very far away. So you can even plug the RTK directly into the wall with another optional accessory. Now we're just gonna put the base on. So we'll hold it in the ground nicely. And you want to make sure you keep the cord away from your foot. Then you could jam these spikes in the ground and step on it to push it all the way in. Gotta make sure I don't step on any cords here. Now it's in the ground securely. You want to make sure it's level too. Secure and level. So again, the 3 prongs go to the 3 holes, line up the notch so it only goes one way, super easy. And then screw the waterproof cover on. Now I have the long extension cable. Put that on, and then screw the waterproof cover on. And now I have the power, the extension cable running, and I'm going to plug it in. Another simple connection. Push that together, waterproof cap. And then plug it into your power. There's no light on this power box. So now my RTK is on with a red light on. It is waving in the wind. Maybe that's why it's a red light. So it was just red for like 3 seconds, and then it started flashing green. Probably means that it's not a great location, but it doesn't look horrible. It's pretty far away from the house. It's not near any trees. I'll put the mower on and see if it'll give me any information. It's booting up.
Please enter PIN code.
I'm going to enter my
Charging begins.
super secret code here. So now I do have a solid green light on the RTK. I'm going to go in the app and I'm going to do my first mapping. I'm going to enter my Genie and create a map. So I have to read this patiently. Yep, the RTK is good. Please draw a map around the edge of your lawn. Yep. And you could expand the map to make more zones and to make paths. No-go zones where you don't want it to mow. You have to clean up your lawn, even though it does avoid many objects. You have to pre-mow your lawn because it can't cut an overgrown lawn. And stay away from it, and it has to be 50%, and it is. Confirm that. The GPS on the device. Confirm, confirm. Next. Mower is working well. All the checks.
Please remote control the robot to start creating maps.
Little tutorial. All right, so I'm going to Go left a little. Starting my first map. Get right close to the base station. So I'm going to try to keep it as tight to the garden as possible. It's rubbing along, which is exactly what I want. I'm going to follow along, make sure I got it right. So it's like I'm using an RC car on my phone or drawing with an Etch-a-Sketch on my phone. Get it tight along this bush. I have to go tight along the fence. They do have an auto map feature. I'm gonna ignore this tree because no grass ever grows around here. So now I'm gonna keep it very tight to the edging here. Want to limit the weed whacking as much as possible. It's good to get a couple of practice mappings in because it's not super simple to get it perfect, but it's super simple just to get the general layout of your lawn. Get tight to this bush, go out here a little bit to the neighbor's lawn, to the edge of the lawn. Very tight to this edging too. Once you get it going straight, it's pretty easy. I do have several trees in my lawn, but they are bordered with edging, so I'm not sure that I need to do a no-go zone. I probably will end up doing a no-go zone, but it might not be necessary. If you have a really well-defined lawn, you could use the auto map feature where you don't have to walk it around the lawn, but right here I'm just going down along the edge of my neighbor's lawn, so the robot wouldn't know to stop here. It would just keep on going to my neighbor's lawn. And you could mow your neighbor's lawn with the mower too. I'm not going to map my entire lawn. Like I said, this is a temporary one. So the 90-degree turn is a little tough, but at least it's on the patio so I can overlap a lot. I'm going to keep it so it definitely gets right to the edge. I'm going to keep it like pretty much centered on the lawnmower, a little bit off to the right. See, I'm overlapping the patio a bit, but then I have to go out around this edging. That there's a stone covering a post right there with the rabbit on it. I'll have to probably do a no-go zone there.
Once the Genie has made it back to the starting point, it automatically knows that the mapping is finished, and then it will return back to the charging station. It lines itself up perfectly and just pulls right in. Here it goes. Lines up perfectly, see? And it plugs itself in, and then it charges.
Now I'm going to set up a no-go zone at the bottom here, the middle of the screen, kind of on the right. I'm going to tap this box so you can set up a rectangle through the app, but my no-go zone is not a rectangle, it's a circle. So I'm going to
Starting to create no-go zones.
remote control. I'm going to drive over to my no-go zone. So I'm going to set it right up against the edging and create no-go zone. So now just drive it around and it won't try to go over this edging. I'm gonna try to keep it tight. So I'm definitely going to have to string trim around the tree, but that's fine. I do that anyway. Just might be a slightly bigger area. Hope it's using the very inside of the mower as the no-go zone. So now I'm going to hit the end and complete. I could create another no-go zone. It does not have to go back to the base station. I'm going to drive over to this little rabbit, starting the no-go zone around this rock, because I do want it to mow between the patio and the rock, but I don't want it to knock the rock off. It's a lot easier to do a big no-go zone than this tiny one. As I'm hitting the rock myself. And push that back to where it goes. So it's not really, it doesn't really work to create a no-go zone this small. So I'm going to just send it back home. In the app, I'm going to the settings, and you have different options. You can mow 1 time or 2 times. 2 times will give it a nice cross pattern. You could change the angle of the mow. It's number of degrees from the mower. So you want it straight up and down, do about a 90. You can do all the different angles. 0 and 180, of course, are the same. So I'm going to start with a 90-degree mow as my first mow. Since the lawn is super low right now, I'm going to do it at 50 millimeters. Would be helpful if they had an option for inches, but I'm going to normally do 70 millimeters, the highest height possible. That's about 2.75 inches, but I've been told by other owners that it actually mows a little higher because the mower is sitting on top of the grass. I wish I could get to 4 inches, so maybe 3.5 setting, but 2.75, so 3 inches is about the best I could do. Oh, also you have an edge trimming option. It will only cut the edge of the lawn, which means that it will try to get as close to the edge as possible so you have as little weed whacking as needed. But right now I'm going to do a full mow. You could have various zones set up if you wanted. You could send it to a specific spot you want to mow if one area is high and others are not. So I could have the front yard as one zone, the backyard as another. Let's start this full mow.
Map mowing starts.
The first time I'm ever mowing with my Genie. Let's see where it's going to start. So it's starting straight out from the mower. It gets to the end, turns around nicely. So it's going to start on this front section, kind of where I ended my map, and then I guess it's going to go to the large section. So it's going to go back and forth through here. It's going perfectly straight down the line. And you can see on the app where it has and hasn't mowed. You can see it's 3 meters squared that it's mowed in 1 minute. Looks like it's going back down the same path it just was on. So it hasn't gone into this area at all. There we go. And I'm just going to stand in its way. And it didn't hit me. It's going right around me. Now it's dealing with the no-go zone. Gets pretty close. I wish it would touch the edging. And it's very quiet. You can barely hear the blade going. You can hear the wheels more, but it's still super quiet. So now it's between the no-go zone and where it's going to use the obstacle avoidance to avoid this stone cover. Turn around the long way so it didn't hit it. It's nicely going around. I do wonder if it will get between the rock and the hard place, the rock in the patio. So I just opened the app to see what it has mowed. And could I zoom in here? Yeah. So it hasn't gotten behind the rabbit, it hasn't gotten tight to the edge, and it hasn't gotten behind the tree. So I wonder what its plan is. It's nice that you can see right on the app exactly what it has and hasn't mowed, and the battery percentage, the mowing area that it's done, and how much time. I don't think it gets scared by shadows. Nope, right through the shadow. It's smart. I'm gonna stack up a few leaves here, oak and maple leaves, right in front of its path. Goes over them without a care. That's good. It doesn't try to avoid them. So it crunched or split one in half. Got rid of a few of them maybe. It does not really, yeah, you can see it. It sliced this one. With the razor blades that it has, it's not going to really mulch leaves at all. So I'll still have to get out my actual mower to mulch leaves. The mower is finishing up the south side, I guess, of the mapping area. It's not getting right up on the edging, but maybe I have to edge mow for that. So there it is. It's maybe one or two passes over here as a helicopter goes flying by. So once it finishes this section, I wonder what it's gonna go do, because it missed that area behind the tree. I'm sure it was on purpose. I wonder if that's its next area that it's gonna take care of. And like I said, of course it's not mowing anything, being December 1st in New England. I had to get it all set up. Not sure what's going on there. It was going back and forth a few times. Nice 360 or more. So maybe it has one more pass at the end of the map over here. Looks like a little tiny stick is on the wheel. I'm sure that's fine. There we go, it finished this area, but it didn't get over there yet. It's also not hugging the edge like I mapped it. I wish it was right up on the edging. Okay, so now it's going through the nice lines that it made to get that area in the back of that tree. It would be nice that, since it's a circular no-go zone, if it just did a few circles around the tree, maybe 2 or 3 circles around. The first circle being really tight so that it could just then go straight back and forth more. I'd have fewer turns. Now, what happens if a rabbit comes hopping by, wants to eat some grass right here in front of the mower? What will happen to the rabbit? It sees it, says, I'm going the other way. The rabbit's still there, munching away on the grass. And now that is leaving an area beyond the rabbit that it hasn't mowed yet. But it knows that, and it will come back and get that later. And that area is like between the rabbit and the charging station, basically. So now it's getting close to the garden here. It's going to go down one pass and come back another. Nice and close to the RTK station. And here we go. Maybe it'll come back another pass still. I left about 6 inches. So it came down to the skinnier section now. And did not go down by the garden another time. with an area that's so skinny like this, it sure does a lot of back and forth. For an area that's long and skinny, it'd be better for it if it just went all the way down and all the way back the long way. It is good to mow in different directions. It's been having no problem with this other tree that I did not set up as a no-go zone. It's using the cameras to detect the obstacle and avoids it very easily. It looks like it's mowing the same distance from the edging when it is a no-go zone as when it's not a no-go zone. It avoided this tripod, no problem. The battery level got down to about 15%, and now it's going back to the base station to charge. It shows that it's been running for an hour and 50 minutes. And now it's headed into the station. Perfect docking.
Charging begins.
So now the charging is complete. It hit 100% thought it might even leave before 100, but now that it has hit 100%, not sure why it's not moving. You'd think it hits 100%, it would automatically go and finish what it hasn't done. In the app, I went ahead and pressed start, and the Genie said task resumes, and it's going off, cutting through the lines that it made to resume. I don't know why it didn't just automatically go right when it hit 100. Maybe if I left it there another 10 minutes it would have, but I thought that was weird. The Genie is approaching this hole. It's really the only major obstacle on the yard. It's a pretty deep hole. It's hard to see here, but my hand goes way into it. Don't know what animal made it, but I've been trying to fill it. Just been stuffing leaves and sticks and things in there. Probably a couple more passes it'll have to deal with this hole. Here we go. It's coming up. The left wheel will be just in the hole. I got out of it just fine. Now this next pass, the right wheel is going to have some issues. Hopefully it makes it through just fine. Going right into the hole and not an issue at all. You could tell how uneven my lawn is as it is bumping across. Still extremely quiet. So yeah, a hole like that is not an issue for the Anthbot Genie. Again, not a problem at all with these nice big wheels. Super grippy. I have a pile of leaves and sticks here that's going to be right in the path of the Genie. Let's see what it does. Goes over it without an issue at all. Now I'm going to place a phone in its path with the video recording up. Oh, there actually is a phone. There, now it's getting the phone. After avoiding it for a while, it sure went over it a few times. Not sure what noise just started to happen. Must be a leaf that's stuck in there. That's all I could have to assume, that again there's a leaf or something, because it's a weird noise. And leaf bits are going flying. I'm going to press stop.
Please enter PIN code.
And then take a lift from the back side. Let's see what. Yep, a leaf stem was between the blade and the rotor, so it wouldn't spin at all. So my temporary code, I'm going to enter that. And now it should resume. I'm going to press play to resume. On the app, I told it to resume. So now it is. backing up to get into position where it was. There was really not much left at all for it to do. Now I think it believes its mowing is done. So it's going back to its home base. So it looks like it's trying to get closer to the edge, but it keeps on just turning away from it. It got sort of closer, but still keeping this big, ooh, getting pretty close there. Right there is probably getting the area that it had missed before because I put the rabbit in its way. Now it looks to be going back towards the area that I had the tripod set up on before, where it got blocked off. The tripod was only in one little area over there. Maybe it's probably double checking the area that it missed because of the tree. It's great that it goes back to try to get areas that it couldn't get on the first go, in case if the objects have moved, and in this case 2 of them have, so it was able to get them now. Is it doing a nice edge here? No, it's still 4 to 6 inches away from the edge. Then even the blades are not near the edges of the mower. So there's going to be a good amount of string trimming to do. But it is, after it's done mowing, getting the spots that it missed and then going around the edge to tidy up the edge. So now it did get between the rabbit and patio. Now, how close to the garden will it get on the edge mow? Not very close. Get closer, touch the edge, touch the garden. It's not horrible. It's only about, the wheel's only about 1 to 2 inches off. Wish it would go under the bush. You could see on the map how much tighter it is after it's doing the edging to how it was before. It sure is pretty far from the actual edge. When I mapped it, I had the wheels on these rocks. But it'll be really quick just to walk around the yard with the string trimmer.
Finished.
There you go. It got its final.
Starting to recharge.
It went to the final point where it hadn't edged yet. It got all of the spots that it had missed because of obstacles. 100% done. Now it's going the fastest way back to the charger. A lot of people have mentioned they would rather just follow along the edge and go on the path that it already mowed. Take a 90-degree angle from the edging to the mower, because it made all these perfect lines in the lawn. and now it's crossing right through them. So I am impressed on how the Genie worked. That was my first time with a robot mower, and it really did the job of going and getting every part of the lawn pretty efficiently. There are some efficiencies that it definitely could make, and I do wish it got closer to the edges, but none of the robot mowers really do that. So simple string trimming will do the trick. But I definitely got a good value on this guy, and I'm looking forward to the spring and summer where it will actually be cutting grass. It did get a few areas that were a little bit longer, but really throughout the summer it's going to be great having this, especially early when the grass is growing like crazy. I'm probably going to have to set it up to mow every other day. I am happy with my purchase, and so please like and subscribe to my channel. This is the first of many videos I'll be making with my Anthbot. Don't want you to miss them in the spring when they go live.